So in order to start MS Access, you can go to run command and type MS Access. So let us open an existing database. So the file type will have extension of MDB or ACCDB. So MDB is the old format and ACCDB is the new format. So MDB is provided for backward compatibility. So this is a students table. It contains the following records. So let me close it here, right click and close, and let me open this table in design view. Right click and design view. So you can see these field names having various data types. Say for instance SID representing student ID, so it has a data type of number, and you can also set the format, whether it's a long integer, byte. A byte can hold value from 0 to 255. Single can hold decimal places. Double can hold decimal places with greater precision. Similarly, we have decimal, and we have something called replication ID, which we will look later. So first name is of type text, and you can specify the field size here. So it is 255. So ideally let us specify it as 30. You can also provide a default value. So in case you want to provide any default value, say for instance no name, so let me encapsulate in double quotes. So there is this required parameter. So if you specify required, that means it becomes mandatory for user to enter value in this field. So at present it has been set to no. So there are other properties which we will look later. Similarly, we have two other fields, age and state. So I'll show you how to create a new table. So let us close this table. Do you want to save the changes you made to the design? I will say yes. Some data may be lost, so it's giving me a warning. So I reduce the size from 255 to 30 for first name. So it is giving me a warning that some data may be lost. So it may or may not be. So it totally depends on us. So let me click yes, because I know that the data there, the names will be in size which is much lesser than 30. So I'll show you how to create a new table. So go to this create menu. From here you can select table. So I'll select table design. So it will open up in design mode. So I'll specify a field name. Say for instance order ID. I'll specify the data type number, then volume number, or let me specify it as quantity QTY, then price, again number. Now I will change this property of order ID and I will make required to yes. Now let me close this. So it will ask for a name. Do you want to save changes to the design? I will say yes, and it will ask me for a name. So I will name it as orders. It is asking me whether you want to select a primary key. So for the time being I will say no. Now this is the orders table. Now let us try to enter some data. Order ID 1, quantity say 10, and price is say 100, or say let us 500. Similarly, order ID 2, quantity 5, price is 400. Now suppose if I do not specify this order ID, I enter quantity and price. Now let us see. It is giving me a message, you must enter a value in the orders.order ID field, because I have specified the required property as yes. So I'll put some value, and let me delete this and let me see whether it accepts or not. Yes, for quantity and price the required property is false, so even if I don't enter any value, still this will be valid. But the other way around, if I do not enter any value for order ID, it will always give me a message, so you must enter a value in orders. So let me press escape, so and close this. Now let me go to the design view, and I will make it a primary key order ID, because I know that order ID will be unique. So once you make it a primary key, so you can see this required property automatically becomes yes. So I'll show you once again. So let me remove this primary key and make the default property, make the required property as no, and now I will assign the primary key. So watch this, the required property is no here. Now I am going to assign the primary key. Sorry, I am going to assign the primary key. Right click and make it primary key. Or you can click on table tools, so it will open up the toolbar. So you can also select primary key from this toolbar. So now as I have made it the primary key, now you can see so let me close and open this. Index property is no. Okay, so let me try to enter some value now. So now it will not accept any duplicates. See this index property, in this index property it has set indexed and no duplicates, so you cannot change it to no, because this is a default property of primary key, that primary key will be indexed and there will be no duplicates. So you cannot enter a duplicate value. Let me press escape and let me close this, and let me go to the design view and let me remove the primary key. And now we can enter duplicate values. Yes. So this was the concept of primary key. It is interesting to note that the required property of primary key will always be yes. So here it is no, but it doesn't matter whether it is showing no or yes here, but implicitly it will be yes. So let me show you with an example. So if I go here in table view mode and enter some value and keep the order ID blank, so it will not accept. Implicitly the required property is yes for primary key. You can delete a record, so let me press escape. So you can delete a record by selecting the record and pressing delete. Let us consider another table called student data. So it has a primary key student name, then we have address, age and marks obtained. So let us enter few values. Student name Amit, address, now so consider a scenario that another student wants to get enrolled and his name is also Amit. So what if I write Amit here, Amit, but his address is different. Say he belongs to Mumbai. If I press enter, so it will not allow me to enter this entry because Amit is duplicate, but both the Amits have different address, so I need to convey this to, so I can in order to accommodate this change, so what I can do is I'll go to the design view and I'll make student name and address both as primary key. Remember that there can be only one primary key in a table. Say for instance, if you make age as primary key, so you can see that this key indicator from student name has jumped from student name to age. So you can make one primary key at a time. However, there is an option that you can make composite primary key. You can tell MS Access that the combination of student name and address must be unique. So let us try this. Let me save this and close this, or let us go to datasheet view. So now I can create an entry for Amit. But if I try to make an entry like Amit, so it will not accept, because the combination of student name and address must be unique. So this type of primary key is called composite primary key, where you put the condition on more than one column. MS Access supports standard SQL. So let us try to write few SQL queries. So we have a student table with student ID, first name, last name, age and state. Let us try to execute few queries. So we will try to execute these queries. So display all fields from student table. So we'll go to create query design and we'll close this and go to SQL view. So display all field from student table. The query would be select star from student. So you can see all the records. So this is a virtual table. The output of a query is always a virtual table. Of course, there are queries through which we can create other tables, but in general the output of a query will return the data in a table format, which will be a virtual table. It will not exist within the database. So let me save it as QRY1. So you can also put space between the names. Let us create another query. Display last name and first name from student table. So these queries are case insensitive. You can write it in uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter. So display the unique list of all states from student table. So we will use this distinct keyword. So first let us try to write without using distinct. So states are repeating. So what we will do is we will go to SQL view and write distinct. So it gives me the list of distinct states. Display details of all students whose age is greater than or equal to 28. So you can see this age. Display details of all students whose first name or last name is Sam. So this would be the query, and this is the output. Display the details of all students who belongs to the state WB and age less than 25. So there is no such record. Now let us try to execute the seventh query. Display all details of student whose age is between 25 to 30, including 25 and 30, and state is Delhi or UP. So we will use a parenthesis. And state is either Delhi or UP. First UP. This is the output. Display the list of all students, in fact students details, in ascending order of their age. We will use this order by clause, order by age. So by default the order is ascending. Now this number 9 in descending order of their age. Order by age we have to specify this as DESC, descending. Note that by default it's ascending, so we don't have to specify it explicitly like ASC. Even this will work. So the previous query could be executed this way also. So while inserting a record, we will use the insert query. This is the syntax for insert statement. Insert into table name followed by the field name in a particular order, in any order you want to insert, then values, and specifying the values in the same order as you have specified in this list. Let us execute this. So it gives a message, you are about to append one row. I will click yes. So this value will get inserted in student table. Now let us see, insert the following records. So student ID, first name and last name, no age or state has been mentioned. So let us try this. I will remove age and state. Copy this. This will allow me to insert value as long as it does not violate the required property. So the required property for age and state is false. So this will allow me to insert incomplete records like this. Now let us try with some update queries. Update the age as 28 and state as BH for student Shailendra Verma. So this would be the query. Let us execute this. So let me tell you the syntax. Update followed by the name of the table, then set field name equals to new value, and then the where condition to filter out the record. It says you are about to update 0 rows. Why does it say 0 rows? Because Verma as last name does not exist. So it was Sarma. So let me modify this and execute the query. Now it is saying you are about to update one row. But click on yes. Now look at this query. Update all states named WB to West Bengal wherever it appears in the student table. So let me open the student table and show you. So you could see this state as WB and here also WB. So this is the query for that. Update student state, set state equals to West Bengal where state equals to WB. Let me execute this. It is saying you are about to update 3 rows. You can see it has got updated. Now finally delete all student record from student table. So let me show you the delete query. So this is the query. You are about to delete 35 rows, but I would click on no I just wanted you to show the query. So let us put a filter here, delete from student, where state equals to West Bengal. So now it should delete 3 records. Let us try to execute. Yes, if I click yes, those 3 records containing state as West Bengal will be deleted. So for the sake of demonstration only, so let me click no for now. So this concludes your session for day 1. Thanks for listening.